Do you think you've already seen everything nature can create? Just wait until you witness these moments that are almost impossible to happen twice. This is where the beauty, power, and mystery of Earth come together in 1 in a billion moments in nature that leave everyone amazed. Nearly 300 years of history came to an end for the mill in the Hudson Valley after heavy rain on July 29th. Flash flooding turned a landmark that had stood for generations into rubble in just a few minutes. Shelf clouds usually form along the leading edge of powerful thunderstorms. What the camera captured in North Carolina was a clear visual warning. With winds reaching 70 miles per hour, the storm on July 27th shook all of Crawford County, Illinois. Captured on July 28th, the buck moon rising above the San Francisco skyline created a truly striking view. Deep in the forests of northeastern China, a mother tiger quietly led her 5 cubs forward. It wasn't just the journey of a family, but also a sign of the Amur tiger's recovery. Is your area under severe storm conditions or a flash flood warning? Share what's happening where you are in the comments.
It could be that they're chasing fish. If they have a nice group of fish they're chasing down, it could be of predators in the area.
It looks like this boat picked the wrong time to head out right into rush hour, where hundreds of dolphins were crowding the same route without slowing down. One fascinating fact about the ocean is that male seahorses carry the pregnancy. In Blairgowrie, Victoria, thousands of baby seahorses appeared, as many males gave birth at nearly the same time. The tragedy at the Calando mine wasn't just the story of a collapsed bridge. It was also a warning about illegal mining and the importance of proper safety management.
Apoyándonos en valle abajo, tenemos efecto succión del fuego de arriba, con lo cual nos está viniendo de puta madre.
On July 27th, wildfires in Avila Province, central Spain, burned more than 123,000 acres of land, becoming one of the country's largest wildfires in recent years. Have you ever been lucky enough to see a meteor streak across the sky? If you have, tell us where you witnessed that unforgettable moment. In Leilani Estates, Hawaii, lava from Kalauia's fissure. 8 shot into the air, covering the area in a deep red glow with heat rising from deep inside the earth. On July 28, 2026, Kilauea entered its 52nd eruptive episode, sending a lava fountain as high as 500 feet from the northern vent beneath the full moon.
They just opened your door. They opened the car door. It's in the car. Oh my God. The drink. Oh.
It looks like this bear family caught the scent of food and climbed into the vehicle like a team of food safety inspectors.
That's not
On Heron Island, Queensland, every sea turtle's journey begins the moment it emerges from the sand. From there, it faces its first great test of survival as it makes its way to the ocean. No honking, no rushing, and no concern for the line of people waiting. This alligator was simply enjoying its walk. After this incident, inspections of bridge systems and protective measures need to be strengthened because next time the consequences may go far beyond property damage. Above the snow-covered peaks of the Altai Mountains, a red aurora spread across the sky, creating one of nature's rarest displays. You're witnessing the moment a massive cliff at Zion suddenly collapsed like a powerful wave.
I don't know.
Octopus. Oh, golly.
Sometimes the distance between curiosity and regret is only about 8 tentacles. He didn't leave a phone number. He didn't leave a note. He only left the shop owner with one huge question mark. You're watching thousands of crabs enter one of the most critical stages of their lives. They have to shed their old shells to grow, even though doing so leaves them vulnerable to predators. Don't let its appearance fool you. This is a wandering sea anemone, a species that can move and usually opens only after nightfall to feed. A powerful hailstorm covered the roadway in Grenville, while eastern New Mexico continued to face the threat of severe thunderstorms and flash flooding. The incident in Canton shows how a hot air balloon can be dragged by the wind immediately after landing. Spectators should never stand in the direction the basket is moving. This isn't an ordinary tornado. It's a fire whirl, a rotating column created by the intense heat of the fire itself. It can spread flames rapidly and change direction unpredictably. Inside the Mendenhall Glacier in Juneau, Alaska, a deep blue ice cave appears like a crystal world. Its beauty was shaped by a 13-mile glacier, a remnant of the Ice Age. A newly completed apartment building promises of safety, and an outcome that left many people asking the same question: was this entirely the force of nature, or were there also problems with the quality of the construction?
I think so. We landed on the ocean.
It's hard to believe this was the result of a crash. The motorcycle was thrown high into the air and ended up hanging from a traffic light in southern Vancouver. What you're seeing is a real scene in the skies over Minnesota. It's hard to imagine standing just a pane of glass away from such powerful winds as items on the balcony were knocked over one by one.
I bet.
The movements of these two rattlesnakes look like a dance. Biologically, though, this is an organized display of competition for territory or a mate. This was probably the longest chase of that windshield wiper's career. Every year, Christmas Island witnesses one of the planet's most spectacular migrations. Millions of red crabs leave the forest at the same time and cross the island to complete their breeding journey. Chicago had an unexpected street performer dancing in the rain, but this spectacle was actually a warning that the city's drainage system was under serious strain. Off the coast of Exmouth, Western Australia, hundreds of thousands of red-belled jellyfish formed a mesmerizing living carpet. But the tentacles hidden beneath the water still give swimmers good reason to be cautious. Perhaps God was watching over Patel in that moment. Over San Francisco Bay, before the fiery sunset had even begun to fade, a rainbow suddenly appeared, creating a scene that looked almost surreal.
It does happen.
Not like this.
Not golf size, not that. These little ones, yeah.
Amid severe storm warnings, hail pounded Westmont, Illinois, turning the streets into a sea of ice. It may look as delicate as a string of crystals, but this chain of salps is actually a colony of marine animals drifting through the water while filtering food. In Jaipur, Rajasthan, India, a massive swarm of locusts swept into a residential area. With little farmland to feed on, they settled on rooftops before continuing their migration. This isn't a waterfall or a stream. It's Route 9 in Fishkill, New York, submerged by floodwaters after heavy rain on July 29th. The crash lasted only a moment, but it left behind an enormous bill with extensive repair costs and operational losses. The restaurant wasn't open yet, but its first customer arrived early, and it was clearly not the kind of guest the staff had expected. On July 28th, extreme weather struck Ijuí with large hail and intense lightning damaging many rooftops and affecting about 100 families. Beneath the buck moon mist rising from the waterfalls in Yosemite created rare moon bows, turning the entire valley into a dreamlike scene. No special effects, no color enhancement. This was the moment the Alaskan night sky was painted green by constantly shifting curtains of aurora. On June 1, 2026 in Italy, artist Dario Gambarin transformed nearly 290,626 square feet of wheat fields into a portrait of Marilyn Monroe, marking the 100th anniversary of the Hollywood icon's birth. In just a few seconds, the ash silos that had long stood at the Merom power plant became history, bringing another chapter of the energy industry to a close. For this family, the memory of Christmas Eve will probably no longer be defined by celebration, but by a sudden crash and a driver who fled the scene. What you're seeing isn't a halo around the moon. It's the path of moonlight passing through millions of ice crystals in the atmosphere. Just about 39 miles from Las Vegas, Mount Charleston was transformed into a winter wonderland after a snowstorm with snowfall reaching about 16 inches in some areas.
Just wondered if anyone else is having any frog issues in their pool since the flood.
In New South Wales, morning swim plans had to be put on hold when hundreds of frogs turned a backyard pool into the site of a breeding event. How many swallows do you think are filling the skies over New York as they prepare for this long migration, 1,000, 10,000, or even more? At first glance, the school of fish looks like a silver tornado in the ocean. In reality, they're forming a dense group to make it harder for predators to single out one target. In Brisbane, Queensland, hundreds of red-shouldered leaf beetles covered the windows. Take a close look at the flames in the distance. That's the moment a UPS cargo plane crashed shortly after takeoff. In Erath County, Texas, the sunset turned a thunderstorm cloud into what looked like a giant flame suspended in the sky. What would you do if the entire road suddenly disappeared right in front of you? Driven by massive offshore waves, a wall of water suddenly surged onto the coastal road in Silla, Italy, forcing drivers to stop immediately and back away from the entrance to the tunnel.
You better pick up.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, 999.
This was probably the most unforgettable moment of the pilot's career as he walked away from a crash that seemed impossible to survive. For a brief moment, fireworks lit up the entire San Francisco skyline, creating one of the most spectacular scenes of the Independence Day celebration. Have you ever seen a winter landscape so beautiful that it made you want to stand still and simply take it all in? For baseball fans, this wasn't just a light show. It was the moment the entire city stepped into the excitement of all-star festivities. In Chongqing, thousands of fireworks burst into the sky at once, making it look as though the night had been woven from light and color. In an instant, solid ground turned into a sinkhole, pulling down the machine that had been operating above it. The vehicle may have passed the inspection, but it seems the inspector didn't pass the practical test. At first glance, this road in Colorado looks like it's covered in fresh snow. But the white blanket is actually made up of hailstones large enough to damage vehicles. It turns out sea lions have a surprisingly simple way of ending the day. The whole group picks the same route down and lets gravity do the rest. These aren't worms or mysterious tentacles. They're hundreds of goose barnacles covering a piece of driftwood that washed ashore at Papamoa Beach, New Zealand after a storm. This deal cost $0. Shipping was free. As for how unbelievable it is, that's impossible to measure.
Go faster, Russ.
What?
快往别往靠，别往靠，别往靠，别往靠，别往靠！我的妈呀！要不要给我们打个双闪呀？
In icy conditions, the vehicle didn't lose its brakes. It lost traction. That's why many vehicles in Urumqi kept sliding forward even though their drivers reacted in time.
这咱们都有10，我。
As the city lights faded beneath a layer of fog, the Milky Way took center stage, stretching across the sky above San Francisco. On April 13, 2026, Lawrence, Kansas was covered by a surreal purple sky, signaling the approach of a powerful thunderstorm with strong winds and hail. In the Coral Sea, a diver entered the water to observe sharks. Just a few minutes later, he became the unusual visitor that the entire group was curious enough to surround. Did anyone make it this far without jumping at least once? Let us know in the comments. From above, it looks like a flawless display of nature. Beneath the surface, it's a chaotic feeding frenzy involving hundreds of sharks. At first glance, can you guess what's covering the ground? It's thousands of moisture-loving ground beetles that appeared near Quilpie after the rain. In 2025, Indonesia's Liwatobi Laki-Laki volcano erupted violently, sending a massive ash plume about 11.2 miles into the sky.
Yeah. There it was. Yep. So,
This incident is a clear reminder of the importance of securing cargo properly. Just one small mistake can put completely innocent people in danger.
look at that.
Before your eyes is a moving landscape where cascading masses of snow reveal the rugged beauty of Cerro Tronador. This is why transportation infrastructure must be monitored continuously, especially during operations involving the lifting of heavy structural components. Only a narrow gap separated the out-of-control truck from the two workers. This time, luck arrived just in time. Just a few feet, a few seconds, and one precise reaction kept the tunnel from becoming the scene of a head-on collision. Fortunately, everyone had already evacuated before the hillside completely collapsed. One small ball, a lot of long legs, and a truly chaotic match on a Texas ranch.
Okay, well, they'll be done with it in just a second.
This isn't a migration. It's the time when horseshoe crabs take advantage of the high tide to come ashore and lay their eggs. Don't blink, because the ground itself isn't standing still.
关系吗？是不是？我们走旁边。
If this was a theft, the suspect certainly left behind far too many footprints.